Well, hello there, and welcome back to the very latest episode of my Love Machine podcast. Now, when it comes to having the ultimate life and the ultimate relationships, forming a regular daily routine is absolutely important. I often ask my guests about rituals and what they do each day. So, to discuss this topic, I've got an expert in to help us discuss this in great detail. I've got the wonderful Janina Koskinen, and she is a self-care coach all the way from Finland who helps ambitious, self-driven women to find that long-term, realistic routine that will make them look and feel amazing. Janina, how are you doing?
Hey, thank you for having me. I'm feeling amazing today, like just pure bliss. I'm really, really positive and so excited to be here.
I'm very excited to have you too. Pure Bliss. What a wonderful name for a podcast that would be, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Pure Bliss with James and Janina. There we go.
Right.
That'd be really cool. So can you tell my listeners a bit about yourself and what makes you a self-care coach and how did you get into this?
Yeah, okay, cool. So, behind all of this is my own story of, having this kind of like a little bit of challenges and struggles with my own body and my own mind and my own routine. And while I've been, through those challenges, I've been working, I've been testing different things. I've been working on IT and on health as well. And I'm a personal trainer and everything. So after some time, I kind of came to a point that I just want to combine all of those into one thing because I wasn't completely happy with my personal training career, or then I continued with IT, and I was like, this doesn't kind of feel like perfectly it either, and I was still struggling with myself, even just to know like how can I feel good in my body and how can I feel that I'm giving my best and I'm helping people and just like living the life that I truly enjoy and gives me fulfillment. So yeah, now I've been in this self-care coaching space because it felt kind of like the sweet spot of combining online my experience and my own experience through my challenges. So yeah, that's how I got into helping others. I want to make sure that people who are struggling with the same things that I was back then, I've been there, and I know there's plenty of people out there struggling with the same things, so I want to get them to a better place as well.
Fantastic. So do you mainly work with women then?
I mainly work with women. Yeah, like a large part of my audience is women and girls and people probably in like their 40s, 50s, even 30s, who really just kind of like feel like they are living great life, but then there's this one thing that is kind of holding them back, and if they could just like figure this one health thing out, they would be living their best life. But that's like the missing piece that is still quite not there. So those are my people.
I love that. So that's great. I think my audience is mainly female as well when it comes to Instagram, but I do coach men and women equally all the time. But I found out that I've got a 90% audience of women on Instagram,
Oh,
which is
yeah.
quite flattering in a way, I
All
suppose.
right.
But guys, if you're out there listening to this podcast, I know you guys are listening as well. Do reach out and say hello and connect because I want to hear your stories too. Maybe I can help you, or I can get future episodes based around you just to help you. But I think this sort of information is very useful when it comes to self-care and routine because people just don't have routine anymore, do they? They've let it go. What are the biggest struggles that you see?
Yeah, I definitely, one of the biggest struggles that I see is that people think that they are the problem or that they are alone with those challenges, which is like completely the opposite. Like there's so many women out there needing support and support from someone who knows what they are going through. So that's like the one thing, that they think that they are alone and they're just like hopeless in their situation because they've tried so many things. They've tried the diets and plans and meal resets and all those kind of things, trying to look for the solution, to feel better in their routines and with their eating and just confident in their body, but they still somehow end up back in the beginning. Like that just happens all the times, and they're like, I'm trying so hard and I'm still not getting the results, so like what's going on? I must be the problem. That's what I see a lot.
I see that as well with dating. Exactly the same thing. People think
Right.
they go on the dating apps a little bit, don't meet anybody, dates don't work out, and they delete the apps. And then 2 weeks later, they get them back again. They repeat the same thing over and over again, and they feel that they're the last one standing, and no one's going to be interested in them. and no one else is single, but there are millions of people in the same situation, aren't they, doing
Yes.
this? And then they just don't know what to do. They get trapped and they think, well, maybe it's me. Maybe no one's attracted to me. Maybe no one's ever going to be attracted to me. But as you mentioned, if they were to get help and work on this, it often comes from the same issue, which is just self-love and self-care, not knowing your value and not knowing what to do. So we're quite aligned on that then. That sounds good in what we do. So
100%.
We are. So these women that are struggling, we won't talk too much about dating today. We'll talk about what you specialize in, which is mainly diet and fitness and mindset, I imagine. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Which of those three things is the most important?
I think it all starts with the mindset, because you can take action constantly, but if you're not like enjoying it, if you feel like it's not your thing, if it's not realistic, the action that you're supposed to be taking, it's never gonna work. So you actually have to first build the foundation. That's what I always tell my clients. We need to build a foundation that basically is like the core of your identity. You want to make sure that you identify yourself as a healthy person, a person who takes care of their health and who shows up for themselves, and through that we are able to start building, what kind of routine do you have, or where you want to go, what goals do you have, and understanding like what do they enjoy and what's realistic for them. So I would say definitely mindset is where it all starts, because mindset is the first, then it comes like you have certain beliefs, thoughts, and then the thoughts actually become actions, and they become habits, and they become your like identity. So we kind of need to start from the beginning.
Absolutely agree with you. You have to do that. You have to work on the mind first, and being in the right frame of mind and positivity and having a plan before you can do anything. Otherwise, you're not going to stick to it, are you? No matter how many diet plans you set yourself or how many exercise routines, if you don't have the mindset, you're not willing to really work on this, it's never going to last in the long term.
Exactly.
So you mentioned there about thoughts becoming things as well, becoming reality. That's just pretty much what I teach people, the law of attraction all the time, that whatever we think about, whatever we do in life happens.
Yeah.
But in terms of making time for, say, diet and exercise, even mindset to some degree, everyone nowadays is working very, very hard, longer and longer hours. It's very hard to make time to focus and to switch off, isn't it? So what advice do you have on giving people the routine based around making time for diet and exercise and just doing other things?
So I think it all comes down to first knowing a little bit like what already works in your routine. And then we have to identify those things that you are already happy with, that are already working, that are already giving you results, for example. And then we need to identify the things that aren't working, the things that just feel frustrating and you kind of know you should be doing them, but you don't have motivation or you're lazy. So we need to identify a little bit of both. And then we can actually set up like a realistic, I wouldn't say a plan, because plan sounds something very strict that you need to follow, but I'm more talking about, I guess, like adjustments, like small realistic adjustments that we can actually tweaks, exactly, to make sure that you do more of the things that are working and less the things that are not working. Because if you change your routine like overnight, you start a completely new diet or something in the next day, starts on Monday, it's going to be so like drastic change that a couple of days you're going to be back in where you started, right? So I would say definitely you have to start with small adjustments, but you can make adjustments if you're not first aware of where you are now, right? So first awareness, and then on top of that we start making small realistic adjustments that you can still keep doing the things that are not working, because if we eliminate them right away, you're going to be confused, even paralyzed, like I don't know what to do. We need to make them small positive adjustments, and that makes actually those things that are not working reduce automatically.
I see them as stepping stones, that you are trying to get up a ladder. That's what I say for coaching. And one thing at a time gets you towards that. You're not going to go to the top of that ladder straight away.
Right.
And I think as coaches, we push people towards the ladder as fast as we can, but we have to do one thing at a time. And it doesn't matter if you fall down a little bit, you can always go back up again.
Right.
I completely agree. Taking small steps, doing small changes one at a time. That way there's less pressure and you're much more likely to stick to it.
Right.
Do you think people now eat much more unhealthily than they did, say, 50 years ago? All this processed food and things like that.
I mean, it's always like when the things develop, there's always going to be more good things and more bad things. So, like the actual, like, how how do you say, like the portion, I think it's still the same. Like people always do unhealthy things or healthy things, but I don't like the label so much. I think everyone should be kind of finding the way that works for them. And some people, for example, they don't cook ever, but they can still be healthy, right? So I think there's just I guess more, like you said, compared to the past, like 50 years ago, I feel like we have come to a point more when people can customize rather than following always the same expectations that someone or the society or something puts in place, and then everyone has to follow those. I think we have now more room to do whatever you want. You can kind of be selfish a little bit and say like, hey, this doesn't work for me, so why I need to fall into the same bubble that everyone else is. You can actually be more customized and build the health in a way that works for you, rather than just like following the mass.
I think you're right. You've got more options now, haven't you?
Yeah.
Overall.
100%.
You can make good choices, you can make bad choices, you can get someone to cook for you, you can get ready meals, you can get anything, as long as you balance it out. But there has to be room for doing what you want to do in life as well sometimes. I had this conversation with a personal trainer recently on the podcast about eating cake, because it's my son's birthday and we have lots of cake parties, even tomorrow. If you want to eat cake, fine. I think sometimes you have to reward yourself. Do you agree with that?
I don't really agree with rewarding in a sense. I mean, I do believe more like celebrating the things that you're doing great, because we need to celebrate ourselves in order to give us a little bit of credit that we're doing amazing, right? Like we are doing progress on certain things, and when we hit little milestones, we need to celebrate. So okay, that celebration can look like a cake. You can eat cake, you feel amazing or whatever. Like I'm okay with that, but kind of like rewarding gives me the feeling of like you need to be strict in order to enjoy, and then you're like, okay, now I enjoyed, now I need to go back to being not being enjoying miserable. So much, being miserable.
Being miserable.
So I'm always telling my clients that I try to like reduce these extremes, because you can actually eat cake every day, but that doesn't mean that you eat the full cake every day. But you just need to allow this kind of abundance mindset that the cake is not going to be there only for the weekend. Like it's there whenever you feel like you're having it, when you have a good foundation, like we talked about earlier. Like one cake or one piece of cake every single day doesn't really make a difference. I eat chocolate every single day and cereals every single day, and I'm perfectly physically healthy, I'm mentally healthy, and really like in shape and enjoying life, and I have no like bad feelings about this. So yeah, I'm more like abundant type of person rather than reward and then restrict.
I am too. I think that's an important thing. I think I try and stick to sort of 80-20 rule. 80% of the time be healthy, 20% not. That does change all the time. When my children are around, when there's birthday cakes, when there's sweets, when there's crisps, all these things happen. But if you tell yourself that, that's what you try and stick to. And I try and eat healthily as much as I can. But that's just my routine, what I try and do. And I try and incorporate different. I think relaxation should be an important part of a routine as well. Exactly. What do you do to relax?
I sometimes just read a book and just, enjoy alone in the couch, just opening my book and just like completely switching off from everything else. I also like relaxation for me is just being active. It can be a run or something, or it can be just as simple as taking my dog out and having a super calm walk, or sitting in the park. And so it doesn't have to be like a killer workout. It can be just something like something that gets my mind off the things that I do quite a lot. For example, working. I love my work, but I also want to make sure that I have this contrast of completely not thinking about work. So yeah, beach is my happy place. I always go to the beach, just sit there for a little bit and get some fresh air. That's really the best.
I wish I had a beach near me. I love the beach, walking by. The sea's very, very therapeutic, I think, for me.
It is.
To it. When I feel most creative is by the sea. When I get to relax and things. I think switching off, though, I talk about this a lot on my podcast. I have a real mission to switch off, particularly things like sleeping.
Yes.
What advice do you have for someone who wants to just relax more and switch off more as part of their daily routine and get more sleep? How do you do that?
Okay, I have such a perfect a tip for this. Just to obviously get more sleep, I think it's about creating a routine. Because when you have a routine, no matter what you do, it's effortless. Like you don't need to stress about it, or you don't need to put a lot of effort to just like, okay, I need to make this. when you create a routine, it just flows, right? So it's the same with sleeping or, exercising or whatever. So with the sleeping, like, I think you would need to aim to create a routine that works for you. So try to aim, obviously, to go to bed at the same time, even if you're not sleepy, but that gives you, your body and your mind, the kind of sign that now it's time to rest. And then obviously trying to wake up at the same time. That is obviously enough sleep for this person. So yeah, like consistency, and even in the beginning it can be hard, but when you do it, let's say a week, you notice already how far you've come from the day one. So yeah, consistency and definitely like trying to make it a routine. Otherwise, it's not gonna work if it's all over the place.
I wish it was that easy, because my kids have no routine in sleeping. They wake up with nightmares, need to go to the loo and wake me up all the way through the night, as they did last night about 3 times. So my sleep is broken anyway.
Of
but
course.
but I think it might be easier as it gets a bit darker, because they will sleep more and less night. Dark is obviously helps things like sleep, doesn't it? And
that's true.
You relax more. Do you have any daily rituals or things that you do every single day?
I do. I have like, this is like, so it's like when I'm in the evening going to sleep, I just can't wait for the next morning already, because I have such a morning routine that I enjoy so much that, like, I just want to skip the night to the morning because I just enjoy it so much. So here we go. So basically, when I wake up, I go for a walk, like straight from bed. Like I don't get really ready. I even sometimes go kind of like with my pajamas or something. I just want to get a little bit of fresh air in the morning. Doesn't have to be a long walk, just like a small walk around the neighborhood. And then I'll come back.
In your pajamas?
I mean, with my pajamas, or, just like a little jacket, and, just to get some fresh air, and right away, like, not to take my phone, not to open the screen, or not to think about, okay, what's my to-do list today? It's more about just like, okay, giving like a tiny moment for myself just to get some fresh air and kind of exposure from the light, and making sure that I prioritize myself. And then, this is my favorite moment, I come back and I make a matcha green tea. So it's basically kind of like coffee, but it's green tea, and I make a latte with nice like foamy oat milk. And it's just like, I sit down, I just like, still no screens, just enjoy this tea and sit down and just like let myself be, like, just like kind of like mindful. I'm actually mindful, how I feel, what do I do today, what's my plan, and not right away going to Facebook and scroll, and I'm like, everyone is doing this, should I be doing? I kind of completely make sure that I have my own moment before I start my day. So yeah, walk, matcha latte, and that's like when I'm ready for the day.
And then what do you eat for breakfast normally, nutrition wise?
I eat like porridge or some like spelt cereals with some coconut milk, or sometimes I make just like avocado toast or a croissant, and I put like tomato or salad or something like inside, and then I make a lot of like green juices at home. So I always make a juice, and that's like a good hydration as well in the morning with my breakfast.
I love hearing this. I love hearing this. For me, if I have a coffee in the morning, then I'm happy. That's it. I need the coffee. Just that is my point. It's not the taste of it. It's not really for the caffeine. I do it as a ritual to myself, just to have a nice coffee. I only have two coffees a day, and I do that. And I sit down, like, if I got a chance, when my kids are getting in the shower, I sit down and I relax. But what most people do, as you mentioned, they go on their phone straight away and they check their phone and they get all the work they got to do. Maybe they sit down and they watch the news, and the news comes on TV, and that makes you think all negative to start the day.
Right.
So I love the idea. I would love to live a life where I could just drink green juices and herbal teas. I do my best with this. I do my best.
Yeah.
But I think there has to be a mixture, because I think if it becomes part of your routine, then you will do it, won't you? And you'll live to it.
Yeah, exactly. And we are like spending a lot of time on some actions anyway. Why not to just use the same effort and the same time, but to another type of thing? Like, a lot of people still prepare breakfast, but they prepare a breakfast that maybe is not, nutritionally so good that actually would make them feel energetic and ready for the day. They are still using that time. So why not to just use the same time and effort, but prepare, something that actually makes you feel good, that, so it's kind of like, I'm choosing the moment for myself. I'm choosing that this is like, the moment that I prioritize myself before I give, all my support and my attention to the outer world.
You have to do that because you're a coach. You have to be in top form and be the best version of you to do that.
Yeah.
If you come away feeling a bit tired or a bit of a bad mood, it's not going to work, because it's not going to translate to that.
Yeah, that's
When,
true.
when do you have time for your cereals then?
Sorry, when do I have time for my cereals? Yeah, I mean, yeah, I usually like have that morning for myself, and then when I start opening my laptop and start looking at my clients and the work that I need to do, I usually have the breakfast kind of at the same time. So I kind of still start it slow. I don't right away start like rushing into things. I'm kind of like transitioning from my own moment to my breakfast, like my cereals, and then once I'm finished, I'm fully on work mode. So it's like a smooth transition.
So when you've done all that and your working day is over, how do you have any routines then that you do before you go to bed? Other than cleaning your teeth, for example, and things everyone does. Do you need any sort of meditations, any thoughts, any affirmations, anything at all?
Yeah, I do a little bit of like a tiny review. So I have actually a reminder every single day to see what went well, what didn't go so well, or if there's something that maybe felt a bit icky, or I'm like, this wasn't like very good, and then I'll see what I learned. So I have like 3 questions, and I answer those questions every single day, and then yeah, I kind of like that like finalizes my day, and I can kind of switch off, and then yeah, usually I go for a run or some little activity in the evening, and walk my dog, and prepare dinner and groceries, and just kind of like do other type of duties and things that I enjoy. So yeah.
It's important to discuss routine because this is what the topic of it is. And I love the fact you have got these little routines and rituals yourself that you're doing,
Yeah.
because you're living what you're teaching people, aren't you?
Yeah,
That's what it's about.
exactly. Yeah.
What do you think about people that just feel that they are hopeless now and there's no way they can change their lives, and they can't even start to even think about making a new change of routine? What do you advise to them? I know we said small steps as well, but
Yeah.
people that feel really, really hopeless, I mean, nothing's going to change and they feel so fed up with life. What advice do you give them to make change right now?
I would definitely give them the advice to just to understand a bit better, like how long have they struggled with this? Like people just kind of tend to be on autopilot and just like, okay, what can I do? What can I do now? But have a look a little bit like in the past, like how long has this been going on for you? How long have you been wanting those results? Feeling, you probably like can imagine the feeling, like, oh, like the body and the feeling in my own skin, and like you can probably like visualize what you want. Think about how long have you been struggling, and what have you tried, and you're still not there. So maybe that's just a sign for you to take the first step of seeking some support, because there's plenty of people who've been where you are right now, and they know how to get out of that. They know how to improve your situation. So instead of you trying to figure it out on your own, and like for example of myself, I spent 10 years figuring it out on my own to actually feel good in my own skin, and having the routine that serves my best life. I would love to have someone who would told me back then, like, hey, don't worry, I've been there, so I can help you to get there faster. And I could have done it maybe in 2 years instead of 10. Like 10 years a long time. So definitely look back how long you've been struggled, and be brave enough to prioritize yourself and take the step of looking for the support, that someone can help you and hold your hand through the journey.
Someone like you, of course.
And well, someone like me, yeah, especially if you are, someone who has tried everything, and your level of hopeless feelings are like on top, and you're just like not getting there where you want, and it's been for a long time, then I'm here for you.
I love that. How long does it take to form a new routine, to become something you do every single day?
Probably like, I mean, depending on what kind of changes we are making, are they small or big changes? But you can definitely see improvements within just 1 week. I, for example, I did an experiment. It was like a free experiment through my Instagram, and that was 1 week long. And people, like in 1 week, they didn't have a single craving. They didn't overeat or binge eat, and they were actually like getting this kind of kickoff to a positive mindset already just after 1 week. So again, when it's small changes, you can start seeing the results almost immediately.
Wow, that's what it is. It's just
It's
getting
amazing.
started in the first place,
Exactly.
and adapting as you go. If it doesn't work, get rid of it. If it does work, then stick to
100%.
it. That's it. And it
Yeah.
takes time. So, do you work with your clients over Zoom, face to face? What do you tend to do?
I work, online remotely. So we work on Zoom, and we have like a clear plan on, we create a roadmap. We make sure that everyone is always crystal clear. What is their focus every single week? What are their goals and where they want to get to? And we form the roadmap based on that. And we also do kind of like a personal accountability. So I want to make sure that they are getting there. They are doing the things that we've agreed. So we do check in every single week and make sure that they are going and taking the right type of action. And of course, if anything is not working, we talk about it. We make sure that they are in the right track. So yeah, it's all about communication. I want to know what they are doing. Otherwise, I can't help, right?
Yeah, I'm the same. I always get my clients to update me what they're doing, how many dates they've been on, what they're working on. Even didn't work out, how many people they contacted online, just to make sure. And they got the feeling of the support. I think what's the important takeaway of all this is really that at the moment, you might feel a bit daunted. You might feel a bit confused, not sure what to do. But once you start and it becomes a new routine, you'll look back on this. It'll just become the normal for you, won't it? You think, this is my normal life. It's not a case of forming a new routine. It's just my life, the way I live it. In the same way we've created these rituals, good or bad, now that we live through.
Yeah.
It seems to become normal. And if something's not working for you, stop it. If it is working, keep going. Any last tips on routine at all before we round off?
I would say that if you are just like kind of like not confused, but feeling like a little bit overwhelmed of all the options out there, internet is full of options and plans and people doing million things. If you are not sure what would work for you, then I do offer free discovery calls. So I would want to give you that clarity and that new perspective to your own situation and see if what I do would resonate with you and if that would be the way of you moving forward. So yeah, this is completely free. It's all about you getting new perspective. We can look into your situation together, and then I'll kind of give you some actionable steps so you can actually get started.
Fantastic. How would they find you?
They can go to my Instagram. So it is Janina Emila on Instagram, and it's probably gonna be written in the episode as well. So yeah, there's all the information you need in my profile, and you can book a call if that's what you wish.
Fantastic. Don't forget, anyone that's listening, whatever it is in your life, if you want to make these changes, there's no harm in having a call. Make the first intention to yourself to go and just make that call and have an inquiry call and find out. Maybe it's not right for you. Maybe it is. Until you do that, nothing's ever going to change. But if you want to start a new routine, get on with it now. Janina, thank you so much for joining me. I know we could keep talking, but I know you're extremely busy. You've got a lot going on today. So thank you very much. I know we'll talk again.
Thank you so much.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening. I'd love to give you a free copy of my latest book, which you can download right now from my website, jamespriest.com. If you enjoyed this podcast, I'd really appreciate it if you could share the love by taking a few seconds to write a positive review on the iTunes store right now. See you next time.